Okay, so of course we are continuing to track Hurricane Irma, and here's the latest information for you. It is a Category 5, and it's the strongest hurricane in the history of the Atlantic Ocean. But here's the positive news tonight. You still have 5 days to prepare. Tim is saying the winds on our first coast could hit 60 miles an hour, enough to topple some trees starting Sunday night.
Yeah, so bottom line, we could have a lot of trees down. So how do you know which trees in your yard could come crashing down? Well, today I talked with a tree expert, and he told me it's very hard to predict. But he says, think about a spoon and a fork. He says you're safer with trees like a fork because you can see sky, blue sky between the branches. The wind can get through those trees, and those trees hopefully won't fall down. So tonight, what you can and can't do to protect your property against Irma.
We got by on Matthew.
But with Irma?
Our number might be coming up.
Cut down and chopped up. George Cook tells me he is not taking chances with Irma.
I don't know why, Jeannie, but just something told me to have this done.
This stump now means worry cut down.
It was pointed and growing, leaning toward my house.
And all this effort to protect his home.
And it's over $5,000.
Not cheap to cut and trim.
So I figure replacing a roof is going to be a lot more than that.
So what if you still wanted tree service before Irma?
The chances are very, very slim to none.
Barry Williams is with the Rick Warming Company. How many reputable tree companies would you say there are operating in our area?
Realistically, I would certainly say less than 10.
And they are busy, busy. George booked 3 weeks ago. So now it's hindsight. You should have already done it.
It absolutely is.
But just in case Irma does throw a tree onto your house, Barry has some advice from his experience. He says, please don't climb up on your roof.
You should not actually get up on the roof yourself. I know a lot of homeowners believe that they can minimize the damage to their home by taking care of the tree themselves and possibly putting a tarp on the roof.
It's too dangerous, and trees can just snap on you.
It can crush body parts.
And if there is a tree or big limb on your roof, you could actually, he says, damage your house even worse.
If the tree actually breaks at the trunk and the top portion is on the roof, you could cut the wrong portion, and if it turns, then the bottom comes off the base of the tree, and then the entire tree hits the house.
It's just tough. Are you still nervous, though? This is a big storm.
Yes, I am. I'm nervous.
Always worrying which tree could clobber your house. Now, here's another question. What if your neighbor's tree has limbs that hang over your property? I asked Ken Amira about this, and he says you have the legal right to trim those branches onto your property, but you have to pay for it.
So, Jeannie, of course we know that this can be pricey. I know you checked with another tree company today.
Yeah, I called a Big Ben's Tree Service, and they were saying they have gotten at least 50 calls today, but they can't take any more business at all before Hurricane Irma. After the storm, they do try to work with folks who need financial help, or maybe some neighbors will help you trim some tree limbs that you think are rotten or just not going to withstand the storm, because 60 miles per hour, that's what, sick trees and branches that
Right.
go.
I mean, that's one of the reasons severe thunderstorm warnings are issued, is that not only do we begin to have structural damage, we begin to see limbs, we begin to see sick trees come down, and we could have, depending on where you are, about 12 hours of 60-mile-per-hour winds if it goes as forecast.